I'm Dr. Deb Butler, and you are listening to Thinner Peace in Menopause and Beyond. This is episode number 521. Stay tuned. Welcome to Thinner Peace in Menopause and Beyond. This is Dr. Deb Butler, Master Life and Weight Coach, and as always, your coach. If you're a woman and you're smart and you're successful and you've been struggling with weight your whole life and now menopause is making it harder than ever, and you are ready to make this the last time you ever have to go on a diet again, then this podcast is for you. Stay tuned. Well, hello, all my dear friends all over the world. I love to say that every single time I get on to talk to you, because I can't believe that you're all over the world and that what I have to say, you listen to. Because when I first started, I didn't know if one person would listen. And now from the letters I get and the clients that I work with, it's all over the world. And I'm so pleased that what I have to say resonates with you, because I want you more than anything else. I would love for you to be able to put an end to this thing we call our weight, our bodies, and our self-loathing. You know, it's really epidemic. I didn't know when I started this podcast how epidemic the suffering that we have as women about our bodies and how we use food. I really didn't know. I knew I had it. I knew that for sure. And I knew from the small amount of people that I had worked with that it resonated with them. But I didn't realize that it was epidemic. So, hello, all my dear friends all over the world. It is so good to talk to you again. And today I want to talk to you about something that makes me laugh a little bit, but at the same time, I really want you to take this seriously. Because what I want to talk to you about today is love, and love is what makes the world go round. Love is all there is. I don't know how you want to look at it, but in the end, all there is love. And when it comes to you and your relationship to that feeling love, it's even more important. And here's what I want to share with you today, because I get from a lot of people that I talk to, including my clients, they talk about self-sabotage. Meaning that they know that they want a specific result, and yet they do something in the moment that goes against what that result would be. And I really don't think it's self-sabotage. And I want to explain to you a little bit about that and how love really is all there is. I want to talk to you about that today. And I really want to explain it in a way that might help you, because I want you this summer to make it the summer of no. And that makes me laugh, because I see all over in social media people having programs and calling it the summer of yes. I've seen people when they do New Year's resolutions, they call it, all they're going to do is they're going to say yes. And I'm going to put a spin on it. And I'm going to say, I want you to create the summer of no. Here's why. I think what we call self-sabotage is really just self-indulgence. And what I mean by that is, I think in the moment, even if you decided or made a commitment to yourself that you're not going to have that extra drink, or you're not going to have something sweet, and then you do it anyway, there's a reason why you do it. And it's not because you're saying to yourself, I just want to figure out a way how I can stop you from getting what you want. That is not going on in your head. What is going on in your head in that moment is, how can I help you feel better, even though it may not get you what you want? But maybe you can get what you want later, so what the heck? So self-indulgence means I'm going to give it to you, or go ahead and eat it, or go ahead and do it, even though you won't get what you want. Because you know what, sweetheart? Now, this is when we start talking nice to ourselves. You know what, sweetheart? You've had a very, very hard day, and you are exhausted. And you know what? I think tonight would be an extra great night to have that extra drink or two. You talk yourself into it from the point of view as if you're doing yourself a favor. You're not self-sabotaging yourself. You're saying to yourself, poor, poor sweetheart. Think about it. Now, indulgence is interesting because you are trying to somehow give into that urge and make yourself feel better in the moment. That is an indulgence. And the difference between self-indulgence and self-compassion is that when you want something and you know you made a pact with yourself, you made a commitment to yourself, or you just decided you're not going to eat something, when that desire or urge comes up and you use self-compassion, the way that looks is that you have compassion for yourself. I know, sweetheart, how much you want it. I know what a hard day it's been for you. I know this is what you want to do, but you will not get what you want. And so what you do in that moment, when you use self-compassion, is you say no to yourself. And that is the topic of today, is not only how to say no to other people, but more important, how to say no to yourself through self-compassion. Because when you're using self-compassion, as opposed to saying no to yourself because you say to yourself, you know what, you're a fat pig. You cannot control yourself, and you start screaming and yelling at yourself, and then you say no. Feels terrible, which will make you want to do it even more. But when you use this element of self-compassion, then it's like you're feeling like you hear yourself because it feels better. Now, you know, there in many programs, they use this term tough love. And I don't know how if they use it now as much as I've heard it in the past, but it's very interesting, this theme of self-love and then using tough love. Because all tough love means, if you're working with a child or if you're working with yourself or if you're working with somebody else, it means that you love them so much that you're willing to step up and say no and be tough about it, even though you know how badly they want it. You know, if it's a little kid, they're probably screaming and crying and tears are coming out of their eyes because they want it so bad. And you, as the adult, use tough love because you know in the moment that what that child really needs is not candy in the morning, and they believe with all their heart. They see it. They know how good it tastes. They believe it would be the best thing for them. And you use your own love for them, and you get tough, and you say no out of love. And that child knows a no from a no, maybe I'll change my mind, no. But a real live no coming from love is very, very powerful. And that's what I want to offer you today, this week, and this summer. How to use tough love on yourself. How to make this summer the summer of no in order to get what you really want and actually feel a lot better. So think of it, you as a toddler, your brain is like a toddler, like an unmindful toddler that's running around with a knife, and you want to take that knife away by saying, no, sweetheart, this actually won't give you what you want. Now, I don't think you have to go into a lot of explanation because that toddler could care less. A no is a no. Tough love means being able to use self-compassion, and we're talking about yourself now. It could be with anybody, but for you right now, it's with yourself. How to say no to yourself out of love and how to listen to yourself because it's out of love. Even though it's uncomfortable, you know it's done from a place of love and not from a place of hatred and not from a place of punishment. I think self-sabotage comes around when you actually go against yourself for being so mean to yourself. It's like, you can't be mean to me like that. Watch, I'll do it anyway. But when it's being done out of love, the need to want to rebel is less, and that compassion inside of you wells up, which actually makes it easier to almost be able to put your arms around yourself and say to yourself, because I love you so much, and because I know what you actually want, the best thing that I can do right now is say no to you, because I know you'll get more of what you want later if you do this now. And the more that you do that, especially when it comes to urges, because urges get bigger every time you give in to them. Urges tend to get less when you give in to them less. When you allow that urge or that feeling to go through your body without giving into it, actually makes you stronger the next time the urge comes. Stronger meaning you know that you can feel it. So you can let it come in and go, it's not going to kill me, and I'm not going to eat it. And because I love you, I am going to let you go through that discomfort. Because I love you, I want you to repeat after me. This is what I want you to say to yourself. Because I love you, I'm going to say no. Because I love you, I'm going to help you get what you want. And when I talk to my clients, and I know I've talked about this on podcasts, that you need to have a really compelling reason when you want to do this work, my work, work with me, work with the companion guide without me. When you do this work, compelling for a lot of people is knowing that this is the way that I love myself. And here's a beautiful, compelling reason, and feel free to use it if you can feel it resonate in your body. I'm going to learn how to say no to myself out of love. I'm going to learn how to help myself get what I want by loving myself more, by saying no more often. No means love in my world. I love myself enough to say no. Because I am telling you, in those moments of strong urges, your little brain is trying to help you figure out a way how you can eat, drink, do whatever it is that's not on the plan, how you can do it, and why you need it. And that moment of self-indulgence is what you want to become more aware of so that you can use love to say, no, sweetheart, not now. You won't get what you want. So that is what I want you to practice this week. This is what I want you to use this summer. This is the summer I learn how to use no to love myself more. I love that. I want you to practice that. And, this week I am actually going away on a mini little vacation with my husband, Michael, which I'm really excited about. And a lot of it means, like for me, when I take a vacation, it means that I have to say no to other things. I love talking to my clients. I have to tell my clients, nope, I'm not going to talk to you this week. No, I'm not going to do any work this week. No, because I love myself enough to give myself a break. And there are little twitters in my brain going, yeah, but you just took a vacation 2 weeks ago, because I did. You know what? I can take as much time off as I want, and I can say no to somebody else, and I can say no to myself as a way to love myself more too, if it'll give me what I want. And what I want more than anything is a lot of brain space and a lot of space that I can hold when I work with my clients. And I can't do it if my brain is all filled up. So I am using the act of love to leave. So for this week, no is the answer. This is the summer of no, because I love myself that much. And before I leave, I could not end this podcast without saying to you, you're going to say no out of love, out of self-kindness, because no matter what else you do this week, and no matter where else you go this week, please, please, please be very, very kind to yourself, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye. If you're loving my podcast and you would like some more information to be able to follow along with, then please go to drdebbutler.com/change and you can get a free copy of my companion book that goes with this podcast that I refer to in many different episodes. That is drdebbutler.com/change. CHANGE.